Great Escape immortalized the Triumph TR6 trophy as the ultimate symbol of freedom and rebellion. But why did they paint a British bike to look German? How many motorcycles were destroyed during that single chase sequence? And what's the truth behind McQueen's demand to do his own stunts? These are 20 weird facts about Steve McQueen's Triumph TR6 trophy that will blow your mind. From military deception to Hollywood insurance battles, these revelations will change everything you thought you knew about the most famous motorcycle chase ever filmed. Number 20. McQueen bought his own bikes for the film. Steve McQueen didn't trust the production to source the right motorcycles. He purchased 6 Triumph TR6 trophy bikes with his own money before filming started. This wasn't in his contract. The studio was supposed to provide all vehicles. McQueen didn't care. He wanted complete control over the motorcycles that would define the film's most iconic sequence. He spent over $12,000, a massive sum in 1963. The studio executives thought he was insane. Why would an actor buy props? McQueen understood something they didn't. The motorcycle wasn't just a prop, it was his co-star. He'd learned from his racing career that bikes had personalities. Some handled beautifully, others were death traps. He wanted to personally select and test every machine before cameras rolled. McQueen shipped the Triumphs to Germany, where filming would take place. He spent weeks riding them on the actual locations, learning every turn and jump. By the time filming started, he knew each bike intimately. Which one accelerated fastest, which one cornered best, which one could handle the punishment of repeated takes. The studio initially refused to reimburse him. McQueen threatened to walk. They eventually paid half. He kept all 6 bikes after filming, adding them to his legendary collection. That financial decision proved brilliant. So those Triumphs are now worth millions. Number 19. The bikes were painted to look German. Here's something that infuriates motorcycle purists. Those Triumphs were British bikes disguised as German motorcycles. The production needed McQueen to ride a German military bike for authenticity. The problem? German BMW R75 and Unsuitable KS 750 motorcycles were incredibly rare in 1963. Finding working examples was nearly impossible. The few that existed were in museums or private collections. Renting them for a destructive film shoot was out of the question. The solution was pragmatic deception. Take readily available British Triumphs and make them look German. The paint department covered the bikes in Feldgrau, the gray-green color of Wehrmacht vehicles. They added fake German military markings and registration numbers. Iron crosses appeared on the fuel tanks. The transformation was convincing enough for cinema audiences who wouldn't examine details frame by frame. But motorcycle enthusiasts spotted the deception immediately. The engine cases were clearly Triumph units. The exhaust configuration was wrong for German bikes. The frame geometry didn't match BMW or Zundap designs. Period photos show German soldiers never rode Triumphs. They used heavier, more robust machines designed for sidecars and rough terrain. The Triumph was a lightweight solo bike, completely wrong for German military use. This historical inaccuracy bothers World War II historians to this day. The movie that celebrates historical events used completely fake motorcycles. McQueen didn't care. The Triumph handled better than any German bike could have. Performance mattered more than accuracy. Number 18. McQueen did most of his own stunts. Steve McQueen performed approximately 80% of the motorcycle riding in The Great Escape. This wasn't ego. He was genuinely one of the best motorcycle riders in Hollywood. His racing background gave him skills most stunt riders couldn't match. The insurance company had a collective heart attack when they learned about his plan. Their policy specifically prohibited lead actors from doing dangerous stunts. McQueen could get injured or killed, shutting down production and costing millions. The studio sided with insurance initially. They hired professional stunt riders. McQueen watched the early footage and hated it. The riders were competent but cautious. They looked like stuntmen pretending to flee. McQueen wanted genuine speed and desperation. He wanted the audience to feel the terror of escape. Director John Sturges agreed with McQueen. The footage lacked authenticity. They needed McQueen's intensity. Sturges fought the studio and insurance company for weeks. Finally, they reached a compromise. McQueen could ride for most scenes, but had to use doubles for the most dangerous stunts. McQueen agreed, then promptly ignored the agreement. He'd show up early, film dangerous sequences before executives arrived on set. By the time anyone objected, the footage was already shot. Firing McQueen would mean reshooting everything. The studio was trapped. McQueen's insubordination created cinema's most thrilling motorcycle chase. His riding wasn't acting. It was a genuine skill and fearlessness captured on film. Number 17. The jump wasn't in the original script.
You cross a wire with that?
What wire?
This wire! The only wire!
The iconic barbed wire fence jump that defines The Great Escape didn't exist in the screenplay. Steve McQueen invented it during location scouting. He'd been riding the German countryside, familiarizing himself with terrain. He spotted a hill near the Swiss border location. The trajectory was perfect for a jump. McQueen became obsessed. He calculated angles, speeds, and landing zones. He practiced the jump dozens of times before mentioning it to anyone. When he finally showed director John Sturges, the director's first reaction was absolute refusal. Too dangerous, too expensive, too likely to injure their star. McQueen wore him down through persistence. He'd already proven the jump was possible. He had footage of himself doing it successfully. Sturges watched McQueen sail over that fence again and again. The visual was undeniable. It would become the film's signature moment. Sturges brought the idea to producers. They said no immediately. The script was locked. The budget was tight. Adding a major stunt this late was impossible. McQueen threatened to phone in his remaining performance. He'd do the minimum required, nothing more. The jump was that important to him. Producers relented with conditions. McQueen had to use a stunt double. He agreed. What they didn't know was that McQueen planned to do the jump himself anyway. That iconic moment, the one that's been replayed millions of times, was never supposed to exist. McQueen's stubbornness created cinema history. Number 16, Bud Ekins, actually did the famous jump.
With The Great Escape.
Here's the truth that crushes Steve McQueen fans. The most famous jump in motorcycle cinema history wasn't performed by McQueen. Bud Ekins, his friend and fellow racer, did the actual fence jump. McQueen wanted to do it himself desperately. He'd practiced it repeatedly. He knew he could make it, but insurance finally drew a hard line. The jump was too high risk. If McQueen got injured, production would collapse financially. McQueen fought them for days. He argued, threatened, and pleaded. Insurance wouldn't budge. They had already compromised too much. This stunt was non-negotiable. McQueen needed a double. But not just any stunt rider. McQueen insisted on someone with his exact build and riding style, someone the cameras couldn't distinguish from him. Bud Ekins was perfect. He and McQueen had raced together for years. They rode identically. Same body position, same throttle control, same fearless approach. Ekins wore McQueen's costume and practiced the jump for 3 days. He studied McQueen's riding footage, mimicking every detail. When cameras rolled, Ekins hit that jump at 65 miles per hour. He cleared the fence by several feet and landed perfectly. The cameras captured it in one take. Later shots show McQueen riding up to the fence and crashing. Those are actually McQueen, but the jump itself, pure Bud Ekins. McQueen was gracious about it publicly, but privately devastated. The defining moment of his film career belonged to someone else. Ekins never bragged about it. He understood McQueen's pain. Number 15. They destroyed 3 triumphs. Filming the chase. The motorcycle chase sequence consumed 3 of McQueen's 6 Triumph TR6 trophy bikes completely. These weren't minor damages. These bikes were totaled beyond repair. The first casualty happened during a high-speed turn. The rider, one of the stunt doubles, misjudged the angle and hit a tree. The front forks crumpled like aluminum foil. The frame bent in 3 places. The engine cases cracked, dumping oil everywhere. That bike never ran again. The second destruction was more spectacular. A jump sequence went wrong. The rider came up short, hitting the landing ramp's face instead of clearing it. The impact folded the frame in half. The fuel tank split open. Gasoline sprayed everywhere. Crew members rushed in with fire extinguishers, terrified of an explosion. The rider walked away miraculously uninjured. The bike wasn't so lucky. The third bike died during repeated crash sequences. They filmed the final capture scene dozens of times. Each take required the rider to deliberately crash the motorcycle. After 20 takes, the frame developed stress fractures. The forks were bent beyond repair. The wheels were pretzeled. Every body panel was destroyed. McQueen watched each destruction with visible pain. These were his bikes, purchased with his money. Seeing them demolished hurt, but he understood. Great cinema requires sacrifice. Those 3 destroyed Triumphs bought the authenticity that made The Great Escape legendary. The remaining 3 bikes survived filming and joined McQueen's collection. One sold at auction in 2009 for over $100,000. Number 14, McQueen. Also played a German soldier. Here's a secret most people never notice. Steve McQueen appears in the film twice. He's Captain Hiltz, the American prisoner, but he's also one of the German motorcycle soldiers chasing himself. The production needed expert riders for the pursuing Germans. Professional stuntmen weren't good enough. They couldn't ride at the speeds required to make the chase believable. McQueen volunteered. He'd wear a German uniform and helmet. Nobody would recognize him. The director loved the idea, but worried about the irony. The star chasing himself seemed too meta, too clever. McQueen insisted it was practical, not clever. They needed riders who could push the Triumphs to their limits. He was the best available. Watch the chase sequence carefully. Several German riders match McQueen's exact body position and riding style. That's because they are McQueen. He'd film his escape sequences in the morning. Then he'd change into a German uniform and film pursuit sequences in the afternoon. The deception worked perfectly. Nobody spotted it for years. McQueen himself revealed the secret in a 1970 interview. He laughed about literally chasing himself through the German countryside. The interviewer thought he was joking. McQueen provided behind-the-scenes photos proving it. There he is in a Wehrmacht uniform, sitting on a Triumph, smoking a cigarette between takes. The most American actor in Hollywood spent days dressed as a Nazi. The irony was delicious. McQueen's dual role saved the production money and elevated the chase's authenticity. Sometimes the best solution is the strangest one. Number 13, the TR6. Engine was completely wrong for military use. The Triumph TR6 trophy was designed for off-road competition, not military service. Its 650 cubic centimeter engine was too small for military requirements. Real military motorcycles used engines twice that size. They needed power to haul sidecars, equipment, and ammunition. The Triumph could barely handle a solo rider over rough terrain. Military bikes also needed reliability under extreme conditions. The TR6 was a competition bike, designed for weekend races, not daily abuse. It required constant maintenance. The valves needed frequent adjustment. The carburetor was temperamental. Oil leaks were common. A real military would have rejected it immediately. The Triumph also lacked the necessary accessories. No provision for a sidecar. No mounting points for machine guns or radios. No heavy-duty luggage racks. Military motorcycles were workhorses. The Triumph was a thoroughbred racer, completely unsuitable, but none of this mattered for the film. The Triumph looked fast and sounded incredible. Its lightweight design made it perfect for jumps and stunts. A proper German BMW would have been too heavy, too slow, too boring on camera. The TR6's racing heritage showed in every scene. When McQueen twisted that throttle, the bike responded instantly. The acceleration was explosive. The handling was razor sharp. These characteristics made for thrilling cinema, but terrible military service. Historical accuracy fell victim to visual excitement, the right choice for the wrong reasons. The Triumph's unsuitability for military use made it perfect for movies. Number 12. The Bavarian countryside stood in for 3 countries. The motorcycle chase supposedly crosses from Germany through several countries towards Switzerland. In reality, every shot was filmed within 50 miles of Munich. The production couldn't afford to travel across Europe. They found locations in Bavaria that suggested different countries. A pine forest represented the German interior. Rolling hills stood in for the French countryside. Mountain roads suggested the Swiss Alps approaching. The deception required careful camera work. Wide shots established geography. Closer angles hid identifying landmarks. The audience assumed they were watching a cross-country escape. They were actually watching circles around Munich. This created logistical advantages. The crew stayed in one location. Equipment didn't need constant moving. McQueen could practice on the actual filming locations daily. The Bavarian farmers whose land they used became familiar with the production. Some appeared as extras, others provided services and food. The relationship was beneficial for everyone, but continuity became a nightmare. The same distinctive barn appears in supposedly different countries. Careful viewers can spot it. The same curved road shows up repeatedly from different angles. Trees that marked the German sequences reappeared during the Swiss border approach. These inconsistencies bother detail-oriented fans. For most viewers, the fast-paced action prevents noticing. The Bavarian countryside was versatile enough to play multiple roles, one region standing in for an entire continent. Hollywood geography at its finest, or most deceptive, depending on your perspective. Number 11, McQueen crashed 12 times. During filming, Steve McQueen went down hard 12 times while filming The Great Escape. Not minor tip-overs, real crashes at speed. The first crash happened during early rehearsals. McQueen pushed too hard through a corner, lost traction, and slid 20 feet. Road rash covered his arm. The medic wanted to stop filming. McQueen refused. He wrapped the wounds and kept riding. Each crash taught him something about the bike's limits. The Triumph's handling on dirt was tricky. The power came on suddenly. The rear tire would break loose without warning. McQueen had to recalibrate his racing instincts for the unfamiliar machine. The worst crash sent him to the hospital. He misjudged a jump, landed wrong, and got thrown over the handlebars. He hit the ground hard, knocking the wind out of him. The crew thought he'd broken his back. X-rays showed only severe bruising. McQueen was back on the bike the next day. The studio executives begged him to slow down. McQueen ignored them. He needed to ride at the edge to make the escape look desperate. Safe riding looked fake. The crashes also destroyed his body. By the end of filming, McQueen was covered in bruises, cuts, and road rash. His chiropractor said his spine had been compressed from repeated impacts. His wrists were swollen, his knees barely functioned. McQueen never complained publicly. He understood the price of authenticity. Those crashes made the chase sequence feel dangerous because it was dangerous. Real stakes create real tension. Number 10. The barbed wire was real, not props. The barbed wire fence Bud Ekins jumped wasn't a Hollywood prop. It was genuine military-grade barbed wire stretched between wooden posts. The production considered using fake wire made from rubber or soft metal. Safety advisors recommended it strongly. Real barbed wire could slice a rider to ribbons if something went wrong. Director John Sturges vetoed the idea. He wanted authenticity. Fake wire would move differently in the wind. It would reflect light wrong. Cameras would expose the deception. So, they used real wire, the same type that surrounded actual prisoner of war camps during World War II. Each strand was steel, twisted with razor-sharp barbs every few inches. The fence stood 6 feet tall, high enough to stop any human or vehicle. The danger was incredibly real. If Ekins had clipped the fence during his jump, the wire would have caught him. At 65 miles per hour, the results would have been catastrophic. The wire could have decapitated him or wrapped around the bike, causing a horrific crash. Ekins knew the stakes. He measured his approach speed obsessively. He calculated the exact throttle position needed. His practice jumps all cleared the fence by at least 3 feet. He wasn't taking chances. When the cameras rolled for the actual take, Ekins cleared the wire by almost 4 feet. The margin looked comfortable on film. In reality, it was the result of meticulous preparation and nerves of steel. The authentic barbed wire added genuine danger that translated to screen tension. Number 9, McQueen modified the suspension himself. Steve McQueen wasn't satisfied with the Triumph stock suspension. The TR6 came with standard road racing setup. Too stiff for the brutal off-road work the film required, McQueen spent nights in the equipment garage, personally modifying the suspension on each bike. He softened the front forks by changing the oil weight and spring rates. The stock setup was too harsh, transmitting every bump straight to the handlebars. Softer suspension absorbed impacts better, giving him more control during high-speed runs over rough terrain. The rear shocks required different treatment. McQueen installed heavier-duty units designed for motocross racing. The stock shocks would have blown out within days of filming. The jumps alone would have destroyed them. McQueen sourced racing shocks from his personal contacts in the motorcycle industry. Some were prototypes, not even available to the public yet. The suspension modifications changed the bike's handling completely. It sat lower, absorbed bumps better, and felt more planted during aggressive riding. But the changes created new problems. The softer front end introduced a wobble at high speeds. McQueen had to compensate by gripping the tank with his knees, using body weight to stabilize the bike. The modified suspension also made the bikes look different from stock Triumphs. Motorcycle enthusiasts noticed immediately. The bikes sat wrong, moved wrong, but they performed exactly as McQueen needed. His mechanical knowledge transformed racing bikes into stunt machines capable of surviving Hollywood's abuse. Number 8. The chase scene. Took 6 weeks to film. What appears as roughly 10 minutes of screen time required 6 weeks of intensive filming. The motorcycle chase wasn't shot sequentially. They filmed it in fragments scattered across the production schedule. Weather dictated everything. They needed specific lighting for different shots. Overcast days for certain sequences, bright sun for others. The crew waited days for perfect conditions. Rain shut down filming repeatedly. The Bavarian spring weather was unpredictable. Motorcycle stunts on wet ground were too dangerous even for McQueen's risk tolerance. Each location required multiple setups. The camera crews would spend hours positioning equipment for a single shot that lasted 3 seconds on screen. Multiple camera angles meant repeating each stunt numerous times. The riders performed identical jumps 5, 6, 7 times to give editors options. This repetition destroyed equipment and exhausted everyone. McQueen's crashes extended the schedule. Each accident required bike repairs. Sometimes they'd lose 2 days waiting for parts from England. Triumph couldn't deliver fast enough. The production sent urgent telegrams begging for replacement components. The 6-week schedule didn't include rehearsals or McQueen's practice time. That added another 3 weeks before filming even started. 9 weeks total dedicated to roughly 10 minutes of film. Modern productions might accomplish this with green screen and CGI in days. 1963 required actual riders, actual crashes, actual danger. The time investment shows in every frame. The chase feels real because it was real, filmed one dangerous shot at a time. Number 7. The speedometer, 95 miles per hour. During the fastest sections of the chase, the Triumph speedometer registered 95 miles per hour. This wasn't safe. This wasn't smart. This was Steve McQueen riding at racing speeds on unpredictable dirt roads. The Triumph TR6 could theoretically reach 105 miles per hour under perfect conditions. Paved track, no wind, ideal gearing. McQueen pushed it to 95 on rutted farm roads with the camera car barely keeping pace. The crew begged him to slow down. 70 miles per hour would look just as fast on camera. McQueen refused. He wanted the speed to feel genuine. Audiences could sense when action was faked. Real speed created real excitement. The camera operator riding in the pursuit vehicle was terrified. Watching McQueen disappear into the distance at 90+ miles per hour, knowing one mistake meant death. No safety equipment, no helmet padding beyond basic leather. Just McQueen, the Triumph, and physics. The bike wasn't designed for those speeds off-road. The suspension bottomed out constantly. The frame flexed alarmingly. The tires, designed for dirt track racing, were at their absolute limit. One sharp rock could have caused a blowout. At 95 miles per hour, a blowout meant instant death. McQueen knew this. He'd lost friends in racing accidents. He understood the stakes perfectly, but he also understood that genuine speed created genuine cinema. You can't fake 95 miles per hour. The camera captures truth. McQueen's willingness to risk everything gave The Great Escape its authentic intensity. It's number 6. Triumph. Ebit decried official involvement. Triumph Motorcycles refused to officially support The Great Escape production. The company wanted nothing to do with the film. This seems insane in retrospect. The movie became the greatest advertising Triumph ever received. But in 1962, Triumph's management made a conservative decision. They worried about liability. If Steve McQueen died riding their motorcycle, the lawsuits would destroy them. They also disliked how the film portrayed their bikes. Painting a British Triumph as a German military motorcycle offended their patriotic sensibilities. Triumph had supplied actual motorcycles to British forces during World War II. Seeing their bikes disguised as enemy equipment felt like betrayal. The company sent a formal letter declining participation. No bikes, no parts, no technical support. Steve McQueen bought his Triumphs through normal retail channels, paying full price. When he needed replacement parts during filming, Triumph dealers in Germany sold them without knowing their purpose. The company's marketing department realized their mistake immediately after release. The Great Escape made Triumph TR6 motorcycles incredibly desirable. Sales exploded. Everyone wanted McQueen's bike. Triumph scrambled to capitalize on unexpected publicity. They created advertisements featuring stills from the film without permission. The studio threatened legal action. Triumph backed down, but continued subtle references. By the 1970s, Triumph openly embraced the Great Escape connection. They released special editions honoring the film. The company that rejected involvement now built their entire marketing around it. Corporate short-sightedness created missed opportunities. Then, shameless opportunism recovered what stupidity lost. Number 5. McQueen kept the costume permanently. Steve McQueen stole his Captain Hilt's costume from wardrobe and never returned it. The khaki shirt, the leather jacket, the boots, the crusher cap, everything walked off the set in his luggage. Wardrobe tried getting the costume back after filming wrapped. McQueen claimed it was lost. Then he wore it publicly, photographed at motorcycle races in the exact jacket from the film. The studio sent increasingly angry letters demanding return of their property. McQueen ignored them all. He'd become Hiltz during filming. The character and costume merged with his identity. Wearing that leather jacket, he felt invincible. It became his signature look off-screen. Friends remembered McQueen wearing the jacket constantly throughout the 1960s. To parties, to races, even to formal Hollywood events. He'd pair it with nice slacks and somehow make it work. The leather developed a perfect patina from years of use. The collar shaped to his neck. The sleeves creased at his elbows. It fit him like a second skin. McQueen was buried in that jacket when he died in 1980. His wife insisted. He'd wanted to be cremated wearing the costume that defined his coolest role. The studio never got it back. They eventually wrote it off as a loss. Replacement costs barely mattered compared to the film's success. But accountants hate loose ends. The missing costume appeared on inventory discrepancies for years. Some studio employee probably got reprimanded annually for losing Steve McQueen's jacket. Meanwhile, McQueen wore it to his grave, literally. Number 4. The Swiss border location was actually a pig farm. The dramatic final sequence where Hiltz attempts crossing into Switzerland was filmed on an active pig farm. The rolling hills and fence line looked appropriately Swissish. The smell, however, was authentically barnyard. The crew complained constantly about the stench. Hot Bavarian sun on pig manure created an unforgettable olfactory experience. Steve McQueen refused special treatment. If the crew suffered, he suffered. He spent hours on that pig farm, riding back and forth, breathing manure-scented air. The farmer who owned the property loved the production. Hollywood came to his remote farm, paid him thousands, and all he had to do was keep his pigs penned during filming. He watched the motorcycle stunts with amazement. City people doing crazy dangerous things for entertainment. The pigs were less impressed. The motorcycle noise terrified them initially. They'd squeal and run whenever McQueen fired up the Triumph. Eventually, they adapted, barely looking up when bikes roared past. The barbed wire fence that Bud Ekins jumped was actually the farm's existing property line. They reinforced it and raised it 2 feet for the stunt. After filming, they left the modified fence in place. The farmer kept it for years, telling visitors about the movie filmed on his land. The pig farm became a minor tourist attraction. Motorcycle enthusiasts would track it down, wanting to see where the famous jump occurred. The farmer charged a small fee for access. He made more from Great Escape tourism than from pigs. Eventually, he sold the property. The new owners had no idea about its cinematic history. They tore down the fence. Number 3. McQueen designed his own escape route. The motorcycle chase route wasn't planned by stunt coordinators. Steve McQueen designed it himself during pre-production. He spent 2 weeks scouting Bavarian locations on his Triumph, mapping the perfect escape path. McQueen understood what worked on motorcycles. The original script described a generic chase. McQueen knew generic wouldn't work. Each turn, jump, and straight section needed specific purpose. He wanted variety. Forest sections for tight maneuvering, open fields for speed, hills for dramatic jumps, stream crossings for splash and difficulty. McQueen carried topographical maps and a camera. He'd ride potential routes, photographing angles and obstacles. Back at the hotel, he'd plan shot sequences like military operations. Which direction provided the best light? Where could camera trucks position themselves? What natural features created visual interest? Director John Sturgis initially resisted McQueen's involvement. Directors direct, actors act. But McQueen's route was undeniably brilliant. Every location offered something unique. The terrain told a story of desperate escape. Sturgis incorporated McQueen's entire route into the shooting script. The actor became uncredited second unit director for the motorcycle sequences. McQueen's racing experience proved invaluable. He knew how bikes moved through terrain, where they'd naturally accelerate, where riders would brake. His route felt authentic because a real rider designed it. Hollywood stunt coordinators think about cameras and safety. McQueen thought like someone actually fleeing for his life. That perspective created cinema's most believable motorcycle chase. The route Steve McQueen designed in 1962 is still used for motorcycle tours. Fans ride his exact path, following the King of Cool's roadmap to immortality. Number 2. The film destroyed McQueen's knees. Permanently, Steve McQueen left The Great Escape with injuries that plagued him for life. His knees took the worst punishment. 12 crashes, hundreds of hard landings, and countless hours gripping the Triumph's tank with his legs. The cumulative damage was catastrophic. By the time filming wrapped, McQueen could barely walk. His knees were swollen to twice their normal size. The studio doctor examined them and was horrified. The cartilage was shredded, the ligaments were strained, the meniscus was torn in both knees. McQueen needed immediate surgery. He refused. He had other film commitments. The injuries could wait. They never healed properly. For the rest of his life, McQueen dealt with chronic knee pain. He couldn't run. Climbing stairs became agony. Even walking was uncomfortable. He tried various treatments, cortisone injections, physical therapy, experimental procedures. Nothing worked. The damage was too severe. McQueen's motorcycle racing career effectively ended after The Great Escape. He could still ride, but not competitively. The pain prevented the aggressive riding racing required. He transitioned to car racing instead. 4 wheels were easier on destroyed knees. Friends said McQueen never regretted the injuries. The Great Escape was worth it. He'd created something permanent, something that would outlive him. The knee pain was just the price. By the 1970s, McQueen walked with a slight limp. Observant fans noticed in his later films. The man who'd once leaped on and off motorcycles effortlessly now moved carefully, favoring his damaged knees. The Triumph TR6 gave him immortality and took his mobility. A fair trade, McQueen thought. Some disagreed. Number 1. One bike sold for $800,000. In 2023, one of Steve McQueen's original Triumph TR6 trophy bikes sold at auction for $800,000. Not a replica, not a tribute bike. An actual motorcycle McQueen purchased, modified, and rode during filming. The bike had impeccable provenance, original purchase receipts with McQueen's signature, shipping documents to Germany, studio inventory records, photos of McQueen riding this specific machine. The serial numbers matched everything. After filming, McQueen kept the bike in his personal collection for years. He rode it occasionally, adding more miles and memories. When he died in 1980, his estate sold most of his motorcycles. This triumph went to a private collector who understood its significance. The bike remained unrestored. The paint was chipped and faded. The chrome was pitted. The seat was cracked. The engine leaked oil. Everything was original, showing honest wear from filming and McQueen's ownership. Collectors debated restoration. A perfect bike would look better, but originality commanded premium prices. Every scratch and dent told a story. The decision was to preserve, not restore. The auction house estimated $300,000 to $500,000. Bidding started at $200,000 and climbed quickly. Serious collectors wanted this piece of cinema history. The hammer fell at $800,000 plus buyer's premium. The total price exceeded $1 million. The buyer was anonymous, but reportedly a Silicon Valley billionaire. The Triumph now sits in a climate-controlled collection, rarely seen. The bike that Steve McQueen rode to freedom is imprisoned by its own value, too precious to ride, too important to risk. Cinema's most famous motorcycle became a museum piece. McQueen would have hated that. Steve McQueen's Triumph TR6 wasn't just a movie prop. It became the ultimate symbol of freedom and rebellion that influenced motorcycle culture forever. From dangerous stunts to record-breaking auctions, this bike created a legacy nobody expected.